FNAF. Scott. The books. They are more than a simple story. They are a prison of endless theorizing, where a single choice can branch out into infinite hate tweets, creating division and making us hate the franchise we love. I am the host. I am a YouTuber stuck between the division. Subscribe me and ponder the question, what if?
Now it's no secret that not all people are a fan of the sci-fi route FNAF has taken. I mean, I was one of the guys who saw the mimic, and let's just say my reaction wasn't that welcoming. But now 1 year has passed and I'm thinking, was there really a better choice? Was there another route with less controversy and a better villain? So I started digging, and I think I found a couple of good candidates that could have been the story. So strap in, folks, because we're going to be jumping through timeline after timeline. Now, a lot of people thought that Elanor was supposed to be the main antagonist of Security Breach. Her first introduction was in the Fazbear Fights books, In the Story to Be Beautiful. In it, we followed the story of a girl named Sarah who wants to be beautiful. Elanor, which is a character who's fueled by human agony, a character with a lot of design similarities with Baby also, tricks her into thinking that she will make her more beautiful. In the process, she cuts off her body parts limb by limb, replacing it with trash, and uses her body parts to escape out into the real world. I see why people don't like the books, but I also see why people wanted her in the games, because throughout the series, she deceives, manipulates, uses people's weaknesses against them. She does all the fun stuff a good villain should do. MatPat even made an entire video of how her connection to the games was very apparent, so go check that video if you want to find out more. But not before you've watched this video 10 times and shared it with your friends, and also maybe if you had Elanor instead of the mimic, her goal would have been completely different. She would have used the Pizzaplex as the means of fueling herself, using the suffering of the people there to become even stronger. And it was Gregory and ours job to stop all of that. But instead, we got the mimic. When we saw Glitchtrap first appear in How Wanted, we all assumed that he was either the creation of Afton, making sure that he left his mark on this world one last time, if killing 5 kids and causing the suffering of millions of people both in game and real life wasn't enough, or that it was Afton himself finding a way to transfer part of his soul into circuit boards to live on after death. But let's be honest, there is a time in stories where you have to let characters go. If part of William's soul remained, or if Baby was back one more time after the FNAF 6 fire, it would be weird, and I'm pretty sure it would have divided the fanbase again. And let me tell you, it did at the time of Glitchtrap being William Afton, it did divide the fanbase. And sure, Elanor is pretty evil and great, but we've already seen her be just that in the books. Bringing her into the games would be like bringing Thanos to X-Men. Sure, Thanos is a great character and part of Marvel, but we've already got a great version of him, so why would you make another version for another series? Which brings us to our third candidate, the Impersonator. When I personally first saw Vanny, I thought this is the direction Steel are going to take with the character. If you didn't know, most serial killers have copycat criminals, which means they use the same methodology, or in this case wear the same outfit, and do serial killing. Now, Vanessa's backstory would support this idea. She had a manipulative and abusive father who made her pretend to be someone she is not. Now, whether William is her father or not, and the bill that gets mentioned in the discs in Security Breach is good old Mustard Man, is unclear. But for the sake of the video, let's say William is her father. Now, the trauma that she endured as a girl did not really leave her at adulthood. This caused her to have multiple personality disorder, one side Vanessa and the other Vanny. With Vanny being the one that her father always adored. In the Pizzaplex, she would take many victims whose agonies would form the blob, and their spirit energy would be used to bring back William Afton. Gregory, a boy who looks a lot like one of her family members from her childhood, would remind her of Vanessa and destroy Vanny and her father's control for good. But regardless of how entertaining this imaginary universe of mine might have been, Scott wanted to go sci-fi, and actually let's talk about that, because that is our fourth candidate, the Mimic. Now, hatred towards some of Scott's decisions is not new to the community, with Dream Theory and Sound Illusion discs being one of the OGs and great examples. But to put the Mimic alongside these two is unfair in my opinion, because you see, the idea of rogue corrupted AI isn't as bad as people make it out to be. And to be honest, I personally like the direction Scott was taking with the games. But they ruined it completely. Now, a lot of people say how Ruin was a great DLC for a broken game. I think it was just lost potential. In the entirety of the game, we go through well-designed routes in the AR world, and a lot of learning moments happen, such as these doors that teleport you or anomalies that you have to find to open certain sections, that I thought was going to be implemented in the final encounter. Spoiler alert, it was not. What we got instead was one of the most anticlimactic reveals I have ever seen in horror game history that led to a boring chase sequence with a barely visible environment. Yeah, and the guy who's chasing you, he looks like this. You had these entire things about security nodes, and all of them deactivated opens a door. You had a brilliant idea of a serial killer AI escaping out into the real world, and you said screw that. And all you've left me to say is, why? Killing Glitchtrap off was more cruel than whatever Glitchtrap has ever done. And I know there was a trailer for the new game Secret of the Mimic coming around, and it looks pretty cool, I'll admit. But I'm pretty sure if you mess this one up, forget to make it actually scary, or make your villains last longer than 2 games, you will lose one of the biggest communities on this platform. And I am being dead serious. So, for the love of everything that is holy, for the love of old Christian animation Scott Coffin made, for the love of the 10th anniversary of FNAF, make it a good game and actually make it scary! Now, despite the anger you just witnessed, I don't hate the Mimic. I think there's a lot of potential, and I think the side of the community that doesn't agree with that and think that the Mimic will ruin everything, I want them to reconsider, because this might be a cool narrative that Scott wants to tell to us. If he does it right, that is. But until then, check out more videos that I've done about FNAF, and also subscribe for more, because there's more coming very soon. And these videos take a long time, so the subscribe will really mean a lot. Thank you all so much for watching. I have been your host, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye!